So with this line, in general, it would be possible to access this machine by screen sharing or by virtual desktop. And there are some steps how to configure it. And
Okay.
that's the line for accessing this virtual machine. And you see, if we are able to SSH connect to the virtual machine, then we can tunnel this VNC port, and then we can access this VNC which is tunneled through the SSH. So we have so an virtual desktop viewer, and we have to connect it to localhost 5901, and then we can access. So I think that's some foundation. And if we if you send me your SSH key, I can configure this virtual machine and add your key also. Then we can both access the same virtual machine and do some installation on there.
Oh, great.
Okay.
Send you the key now, or
Yeah.
or do we do that later?
Oh, you can send it to me directly. Then I will create a virtual machine, and then I can have a look on how I do automating these steps we have read right now.
Okay.
So I need your public key only, not a private one.
Right. I won't show it on the screen. I mean, it's my public one, but I won't.
And you can send it to me by Slack, I think, or by chat. So it's up to you.
Yeah, I'll go in Slack.
Okay. So you send. Okay, great. So I will add your key.
Okay.
So I defined keys already here. I think that's the closing parenthesis. So I will make SSH key record. And close. And give it a name. Okay. Then I can say, okay, you should authorize, I think that's double T. You should be authorized as root.
Okay.
And
Oops. KYE.
what's wrong?
K. Key. I think you spelled K.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I see. And you should be authorized as palette. And you should be authorized as VM user. VM user is the default user, I think. No, that's
Okay.
not. Okay. So VM user, it's the user to be created. And I see here there's a personal key. So maybe I do not want to give you access to my personal key. So I will remove the personal one. Okay.
Okay.
now you have access to all users which are going to be created. So this should work. Okay. So I've already changed AMI definition in order to have a 1604 Ubuntu. And aside this, I've changed nothing real important, I think. Okay. So now I'm going to restart the REPL, and I have to comment out my current coding in here. Okay. So now I'm going to install, create this virtual machine, and then let's try whether we are able both to access it.
Okay.
And then I've written down, I call this a installation trial. So I've written down the commands which are needed for installing this VNC thing, the remote desktop server. And we will do it manually once again and look whether we can use it from both the sides. And if we can use it, then I think the next step would be to automate this.
Right.
Okay.
So I understand when you run that, it's going to put my key into the file on the server?
Yeah.
And that'll allow me. Okay.
Yeah. So that is the hope. This should happen, yes. So first of all, I want to kill the already running instance. So this should go down in a few moments. Okay, it is shutting down. And then we will create it once again new. So I will increase the count again, compile it again, and run it again. Okay, the new one is upcoming. IP would be this one. I can paste it into the link, into the chat. And we should be able to access this. Once again. I can copy to you this SSH line also.
Okay, yeah, that would be great.
So I use as known hosts file def null, because if the IP is changing, then known hosts verification should not give an alarm or an error or something like this.
Okay.
And I want to switch off strict host key checking, and this part is doing the port redirection as soon as we have installed this VNC server on this virtual machine. And Ubuntu is the default user, and that's the IP I copied from the command line, from the EC2 management console. So I am able to access. What
Okay.
about you?
Permission denied. Public key.
Okay. So I want to have a few. Okay. So let me have a few on which users are created already.
Okay.
So maybe you are able to access it by using the palette user. So the palette user is a managed user, and if I'm right, then your key should be added in the SSH authorized keys section. So let me see.
Yes, I just got in with palette.
Yeah. Authorized keys. Oh no, I do not want to list. I want to see what's put in. So here you can see your key. So that's yours. So if you use palette instead of Ubuntu, then you should be able to access. And
Yes.
palette is also a user which is able to do sudo without password.
So I got
Okay,
in.
great. So I've added something more. So if you do a next pull, you will find this managed IDE group thing. And I added an extend. So we had right now, or last time we did creation of the virtual machine, then we used just this within it extends. And now we are using this with DDA VM, and I separate this virtual machine thing for users using this as desktop into two sections. So there are office people which do not need to have things like IntelliJ installed.
Okay.
And there are development people. And so I'm going to do some steps already defined in this DDA VM. And there's a project, it's called DDA Managed VM. And that's the place where this definition comes from. And if you see here, we are trying to install OpenJDK 9, and this installation fails.
Okay.
So we have to fix this in some point in time later on, I think.
Okay.
But right now we can do try out this installation trial. So in order to have the same setting, I will exit and I will log in as palette user, both the same, and we'll try out the installation of the desktop. So this will take some minutes. So maybe you can show me right now your cursive installation. So I'm interested how this is working and how this is looking.
Oh, sure. Let's see, can you see my desktop now, or do I need to share
No, I cannot see.
it?
Okay, now I can see.
Okay, great.
Okay, now, okay, that's Ruby, okay.
Let me put that. I'm starting IntelliJ. You can get this. Maybe you already have it, but Agile Ventures has a license, so that's why.
Okay. So there's a community edition I know and I'm using sometimes.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is it.
Oh, Markdown. You have a preview thing. Okay.
Yeah, I got the preview on. So now it looks like I can do things not just through the terminal, but this REPL is enabled when I run
Okay.
some things. So
So maybe you can. So I can commit the changes I've made. Then you can pull, and maybe you can start a rebel. So
yeah.
team commit. Okay. So I push.
Okay.
Okay. So
Good.
you're doing Git on terminal, you're not using IntelliJ.
No, I don't know. I don't trust the IDEs sometimes, so I like to do all
Okay.
commands on the. But then is this the file? No, we're still working on this one. What should I try?
Try to launch this namespace in the REPL. So that was last time not working very well.
So how do I do it? Is it this here? Or?
I'm not sure how this is working on IntelliJ. So you told that REPL is yeah, maybe a run is the right thing. I'm not sure.
Yeah, somehow you have to run it, and then it shows up over here. But
So how do you connect the REPL to you? So you told that that's working right now.
well, I thought it was. Somehow you go. Oh, you go up here.
Oh, yeah.
So is this? Does this make sense?
I think yes. Yeah. Okay.
See, here's the script path.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
So process finished is not the right one. You have run thing in the REPL. Yes.
yeah, I think
So
it's right. Is that it? Well, I'm not sure what I'm doing. What?
okay.
Do you have an idea?
Yeah. One line below. So I'm not sure. Can I put a ping on your screen or something like this? Do you know? On Google Hangout?
I don't know. Can you? That'd be good
So
if
do
you.
you see something if I press my mouse?
No.
Okay. So in TeamViewer, this is working. That's quite nice. Okay. So we've pressed this run arrow on the top menu bar, and the item below there is also a run arrow.
Yeah, that's for this
Yeah. So
engine.
maybe you can press this, and
Yeah.
maybe that's connecting the REPL to the namespace.
That one? No, let's see. That's run the Lean Engine project, and there are none.
There are
Oh,
no
here.
lining is okay. Then maybe you have to in Eclipse it's called a flavor of a project or nature of a project. So I can add a nature for closure projects, and also I can add nature for lining and projects. So maybe you should do something that this project is recognized as lining and project, and then this can be shown up here. Know what I mean?
No, unfortunately. Oh, this thing here, if I select that, it's going to run it in REPL.
Okay.
Let's just try that. I really don't know what I'm doing, but I think.
Yeah, and there was also a section called REPL below. Okay.
No, that didn't do it.
Oh, this user thing means that you just launched a wrapper below there, so
Down here.
you can try out this 1+2 function. I think this will work. Okay, so okay, you have at least one simple wrapper, and so let's do this remote viewing. Gets to work. Then we can install IntelliJ on this virtual machine also, and maybe then I can do some experiments with it.
Oh, yes.
So
Okay.
okay, so I will do screen sharing again. So installation has, I think it's has worked.
Yeah.
So this Java 9 seems not to be working at the moment.
So Java
But this,
8, is that
yeah,
9? Is that the open?
yeah. So Java
Source?
9 is not working. Java 8 is working. So I think that's I can understand why 9 is not working at the moment.
Oh.
So I will change it in the code, but I will change it later on, I think. Okay. So this line was working. So I think now a VNC server should be able to be started. So I will do it. So I have to set a password manually, and I will choose the password test 1, 2, 3, 4.
Okay.
Later on, we have to find out how to automate this also. I will send the password to you. So you have it. Okay. So now we are going to stop this VNC server. And the launch of this VNC server has created local configuration files. And now we will change one of these files and put in some simple configuration.
Okay.
So this puts 3 lines. So that's the first line, second line, and third line to this file located in .vnc x_startup. And now we can have a look on this. Or here you can see these 3 lines.
Okay.
Okay. Next step will be to start the VNC server again.
Yes.
Okay, stopped. And next step will be, so we have already this tunneled port, this port tunneled. And for me, there's a client software called GTK VNC server, VNC viewer. So maybe you will find something similar for Mac also. So I will connect.
Macintosh, are you?
So I'm able to connect. Can you see it?
Oh yeah. That's the
So
remote machine, right?
and to ensure, you see, it's the IP we have
Right.
so that's the same machine. It's not local anymore.
Right.
So yeah, so let's look for you. So I will
should I look for
switch off.
It's X server client, right?
That's a VNC server client.
The server client.
So VNC is some remote desktop sharing thing.
VNC viewer for Mac.
Yeah,
Is that what I want? Real VNC?
I cannot see your screen.
I'll share the screen.
Yeah.
Do you see that?
I cannot see.
Oh. I thought I shared it.
Yeah, it looks good.
VNC viewer right here.
Please again.
Do you think this is what I want?
Yeah, I think.
Okay. And I should have moved it to applications.
Made nice sound.
Okay. That's your remote computers.
Yeah.
Just information page. Enter VNC server address.
Okay. It's localhost. So Doppelpunkt in German is what in English?
Enter a VNC server address.
So I think this would be localhost colon and then the port, this 5901.
Don't I need the remotes? Isn't it asking for the remote server address?
Yeah, but the remote server is tunneled through SSH to the local host. Yeah. And this
Oh, so
port
you
should
have to
be,
be SSH into it?
yeah, so port should be 5901.
Okay.
Yeah, so maybe this works. Okay, that's fine.
Don't warn. Okay, continue.
So password is test1234. Hey,
Wow.
great.
Wow.
And now if I'm typing something, it should be shown up to you.
Yeah, I just moved.
Yeah,
Right.
I see.
Oh, that's
Can
great.
you see what I'm typing in? Yeah, cool. Okay, great. So
So that worked.
uh,
Wow.
so we have 15 minutes left. So I let this virtual machine run till this evening, I think. So you can do some experiments with it.
Great. Yeah,
And
anything to it really, but I'll just
again,
what what else could I do that would be learning experience for me? Would it just be, well, it's your virtual machine, right? I could
yeah.
I could actually start one up on my
Okay,
I could start one up on my AWS, right? And do those steps, install it, and
okay.
would that be, that might be useful for me to do, right?
I think yes.
I'm not
And
be able to complete it, but I could give it a try.
yeah. So next step would be to automate this installation, or should we con start a second thing, a second task, and try out how we can install IntelliJ Cursive to this virtual machine. So these are two options I see.
Okay.
So what do you want to do as do for next step? What do you think would be good?
You said either the IntelliJ or what?
Or doing automated installation for the things we are doing right now manually.
I mean that would be good, I think.
Okay,
I
so
mean,
let's
installing the VNC
yeah.
server. Yeah, that would,
Okay,
sounds like something useful, doesn't it?
I think yes. So
Yes.
then I will start screen sharing again, and I've started already with some steps, but I just need a short moment.
Oops.
Okay, back again. Okay, so on this namespace managed IDE. So generally I have always some let me say interfacing namespace, and it's located in package pet crate, and you can see other crates also are shaped like this. So I have for this managed VM also a namespace managed VM, and I have some internal namespaces located below this package name.
Okay.
So packages, I think there is something similar in Ruby also, isn't it?
In Ruby, yeah, there are they're not packages, they're modules.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
So in Clojure, there are always also packages, but I think this interfacing package and the internal package, that's just convention.
Okay.
So I have this convention for DDA palette to have one namespace collecting all the things should be open to clients and using clients, and internals will be will reside one step below.
Okay.
And I think one other thing to mention is so I name this namespace as managed minus IDE, but on file system it's with an underscore.
Okay.
So that's a closure convention. Okay. So these steps you see here, I've put in as comment,
Right.
and I want to make this installation steps available as configuration. And you can see our configuration we are currently using. It's in this integration namespace, and it's located in the function config. And you see we have something like it called group specific config.
Yes.
And this MySIEM is located. It's defined here. And the next thing I want to have in here is not only to name IDE user, but also say, okay, we will have a provider, and the provider is called AWS. And this provider thing, this provider switch, should act, or should I need to search the word. It should produce installation steps that we are installing this desktop.
Right.
So if I'm using a virtual box, so I would have a base image called Xubuntu, and Xubuntu already has this desktop installed. So only in case of AWS, I need this desktop installation. On the other hand, on VirtualBox, I need this guest utils, VirtualBox guest utils for virtualization. And on AWS, I do not need this guest utils, I think.
Okay.
So that's the difference. And in order to be able to verify configurations and to prove that configurations are valid, I use a closure framework. It's called Schema. And I will show it to you. Oh, it's here. And that's one of the really useful frameworks in Clojure.
Okay.
So I will send it to you. And with using Schema, we would be able to say, okay, we will have an optional key. And if this key is present, or maybe we should say, okay, this key is always required, written as past. So we are creating a map here, and
Okay.
we have keys defined, and we can define what type a value should be. So this value can be expressed as string, for example. And later on, we can do a more close expressions and say, okay, we just support providers called AWS or VirtualBox.
Okay.
So we can start with this. And now I think we can do a unit test and prove that the configuration containing provider, for example, AWS, is be verified as valid configuration against this schema. So maybe that's a valid step for last 5 minutes. I will copy a unit test and I will put this tests into the namespace. Oh no, I want also to copy the package. I will put this test in the names in the directory test. So we have a separate directory for tests and a separate one for productive code. So the separation is important for creating artifacts. So we will call this test namespace managed IDE test. And we are including this managed IDE as system under test. So that's my naming alias. And now here we can write a test. Okay. So in this namespace we have a DDA IDE config. And we will want to show that this config is valid. So I have to see Plumatic and find out how validate will work. Okay, so here it is. We have to validate. Then the second parameter would be a schema. And then we can put in some data, test data.
Okay.
So we will call as validate. And we have defined schema. And we will have something like provider, AWS. Okay. So namespace is missing. Oh. I think I have to stop working right now today and go to bed. Okay, so now we have schema and unable to resolve the simple DDA IDE config. Okay, that's true. So this belongs to system under test. Now it's working. Okay, so now we can do a first unit test and say run tests. Oh, okay. I have to change the namespace. That's right. And now it shows that we have one running test and one of them is passed. No failures, no errors. So that's fine. So we can do another one. And if we put a number here, then this test should fail. We can prove this and we see, okay, we have one passed and one error. And if I do a not in front of,
then
this should pass again. It's not. Okay. So that's unexpected.
um,
Okay,
value does not
so
match.
value. Okay, that's not just a false, it's throwing an exception.
Oh,
So we have to express that exception is expected. So there is a trick in Clojure, I think. In Clojure, test expect exception. I do not know how this trick is working, so I have to do a short Google.
okay. You got to do a try, maybe.
No? Yeah, we could do, but there is it's
Simpler.
thrown. And we can use this, I think.
That's interesting.
So now we should express which kind of exception is expected. And
I'm seeing a funny pattern on the screen. Is that
where?
I'm seeing like a multicolored pattern.
Yeah, rainbow colored parents. So that's a way to cope with this many parents. So I think that's something Clojure is.
No, I mean, there's a box on the screen with colors in it, and I can't see what you're typing. What is
Where
that?
is the box?
Oh, it's my screen. Sorry. It's my VNC host went down.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Sorry. I thought it was on your screen.
Okay. So maybe there's some documentation. Okay. So I have to put on some expected exception class. And
Oh,
as we are not checking for some special exception, so we would just choose the general one. So now let's rerun the test. Okay, so this is working.
okay.
And so I think that's the point we can continue on. So we would have more strength, more. Okay, I have to search the word. More detailed, yeah.
Yeah.
So we should be more specific, I think. So we are not just expecting a string, but we are expecting one of these values.
Right.
So this will be the next step. And then we will make this installation part dependent on this value. And I think the type VNC server will install anyway. And the first two packages we just want to install on an Amazon provider environment. Okay. So I will commit what we've done, and you can do some experiments with it.
Yeah, I'll make sure to do some fooling around today.
Yeah, and I think we can. So when should we meet for next steps?
Oh, whenever I'm free a lot, so whenever is good for you.
So should we try out Wednesday in the evening, or should we? So next time I will have some time is next upcoming Monday.
Okay. Yeah, just message me
So
and when
okay,
you're and I'm on pretty much every day. I just
okay. So that would be fine. So if I find some time, then we can pair on Wednesday evening, and if I find no time, then I will announce the pairing for next Monday. Okay,
yes, very good.
great. Great.
Great.
So I
Thank you.
wish you a nice day, and I
Yes,
will commit and push my changes. And yeah, wish
yeah,
you some nice experience.
great.
Okay.
I'll be sure to do some.
So,
Okay.
bye
Yeah.
with you.
Bye. Guten Tag.
Tschüss.
Yes, cheers. Bye.